Farmer George and the Fieldmice by Nick Ward. Farmer George looked out of his window. It was a glorious summer's day. Perfect, smiled Farmer George. Time to harvest the wheat. He filled his flask with orange and wrapped some sandwiches for lunch. Farmer George marched across the lane to the wheat field. Yep, barked Tam. Sorry, boy, called Farmer George. You stay and look after the farm. He opened the gate and disappeared inside a dark, rickety shed. Brum! Out he drove on a shiny new combine harvester. Chug chug rumble! Up the field and back again. The combine sliced a great swathe of corn. Farmer George breathed in the warm summer air. He loved harvest time. Out in the field all on his own. But somewhere deep in the stalks of wheat, a family of field mice was snoring gently in their nest when rumble, the field mice woke with a start. What was that terrible noise? Mrs. Field Mouse rushed to the top of a stalk of wheat. Oh dear! It was Farmer George driving his noisy red combine, chopping down the wheat. Stop! Squeaked Mrs. Field Mouse. But of course Farmer George couldn't hear her. She must stop him. But how? Tam was clever. Yep, Tam would know. Take the children to safety, take the children to safety, she told her husband. I'll be right back. And off she scampered across the field, through the hedge, and over the lane. The combine rumbled on. Tam was dozing by the farm gate. Tam, Mrs. Field Mouse gasped. Help me, please. Tam listened, gave a single yap, and raced into the farmyard. A minute later, Tam returned, followed by Prudence, Woolly, and Rooster, Farmer George's biggest and noisiest cockerel. Listen, barked Tam, this is what we will do. Mr. Field Mouse and the children watched helplessly from the edge of the field as the combine thundered on, straight towards their home. Closer and closer and closer. Hurry up, Mrs. Field Mouse. Hurry up, Tam. They squealed. Hurry up. Quickly puffed Mrs. Field Mouse. We haven't much time. The rescuers charged through the wheat until they reached the nest. Now, yapped Tam, quick as a flash. Woolly jumped up onto Prudence's back. Tam leapt onto Woolly, and Rooster perched on top of Tam's head. He yelled. Farmer George jumped up in alarm. What was that? And then he saw, right out in front of him, Rooster and Tam peeking between the ears of wheat. He yanked on the brake, and the combine wheezed to a halt. He yanked on the brake, and the combine wheezed to. What's the matter? Asked Farmer George, rushing over to the animal. Yep, yep, barked Tam. Yep, yep. Farmer George bent down and carefully parted the stalks. Oh, I see, he smiled. Well done, but don't worry. I know just what to do. What did Farmer George do? Well, he finished cutting the wheat, all except the small clump where the field mice had their nest. With some string, some wood, and a bright blue ribbon, he made their home as safe and cozy as could be. When he had finished, Farmer George remembered his lunch. Goodness, I'm hungry, he said. So, as the sun started to sink in the great wide sky, they sat by the oak tree, and Farmer George shared his sandwiches with his friends. Why not trace and colour in some of your own pictures of Farmer George and his animals? Farmer George, Tam the dog, Mrs. Fieldmice, Woolly the sheep,